Welcome to our GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for a die GUAM, here that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, GUAM directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man. Everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Afa GUAM Unfiltered. Afa GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. GUAM source for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Afa GUAM Unfiltered. Everybody now, GUAM Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio, Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to month, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. GUAM sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. GUAM Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gagao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, GUAM sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. GUAM sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into half an hour, GUAM. Welcome. Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Good morning, everybody. This is episode 31, season 2. It's February 22nd, 2026. You're here with me and Bistra and Charlie and Jordan and the Doc and Amberbach. And we're in the studio downstairs in Ipan Talofofo, Tocha, Guam. Beautiful day out here. Come out to Pirates Cove. You'll always enjoy it. Now, today we're going to talk to a new candidate that has never run for office before. And we're going to get a good insight into what he's all about. But first, we're going to show you the articles we have in the gift shop real quick. Embroidered hats just came in from the States. These are bandanas, the good ones, like Jordan has on.
No, this one's different. Those are the skull caps.
Don't blow the show, okay?
Sorry.
Just go with the program. This is books by Dan Farrow, CBs and Superfoods. This is a brief history of Guam. And this is a liberation of Guam. Now, you need to come down and buy these books because poor Don fell down. First he hurt his leg, then he fell again and hurt his vertebrae. And he's over in Tinian and Saipan, going back and forth for help for his health. And he's supposed to be coming back here. So come down and buy his book and support that guy. We just got some new t-shirts in. This one I made from Dr. Nakasone, my hip surgeon over in Hawaii. This one has glow-in-the-dark hips. And we have this in tank top, long sleeve, short sleeve, different types. Another new shirt that came in, this is a pirate flag that Guy Guzidi designed for me. Really cool for Guam. We put some laddie stones in there, long sleeve, short sleeve, you name it. Talk.
Same one in tank tops. We have different sizes and all colors. Then another new design is the Guam signpost. We have this in kid sizes, adult sizes, tank tops, and long sleeves.
Real cool shirts. All different colors, different styles. This guy, Guy, is a genius. He's a pirate man in North Carolina. Also, we just opened up a new batch and we have Mo Gold, beautiful Mo there. This is for sale in the gift shop. And then we have the Ornery Pirate on this sauce. That's the hot sauce that came from Florida. 5 different types, 50% off, right? Some of those. Yep, very good stuff. Okay, we're going to start off today with Bistra, right?
Half a day on Bistro, and this is our portion, half hour news live from Jeff Pirates Cove, where we bring you unfiltered rundown on what is happening on Guam. This past week, we had a big event at the Guam legislature, which was a culmination of months-long work that Senator Will Parkinson did for a specific bill to resolve finally the issue of decolonization on Guam. Are we closer to it? Not quite. The bill faced a strong opposition from many residents. Over 111 people signed up to testify, and unfortunately, not all of them were heard. Very few showed up in support of the bill. A majority of the opposition stated that the removing of the ancestry-based requirement to vote in this plebiscite will trample on their right to self-determination. The people who came in to support the issue stated that this restriction will move the issue nowhere, and Senator Parkinson also concluded legally that that will basically stifle the entire process. Now, my point on it is if the higher courts are saying that this is unconstitutional way to conduct the plebiscite, maybe we should try and play the game by the rules regardless, because the issue of self-determination has been on the books for such a long time, and we're not getting any closer to being either independent or commonwealth or even a state. So what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, so the first thing, and passion was the word that was being used about the folks that went to support or even just to listen.
Mhm.
Passion was now. My only thing that I want to throw out there is I'm a small business owner, and I'm very passionate about rolling back the BPT. So would the business community be welcomed in that way, where we all go down with signs and we make our voices heard the way these you know, the passionate folks that went down in support or in, you know, in their, you know, their voices against the bill.
I
So-
think you're right, Charlie. I think the businesses, if they ever really got a nice get together and formed like a union between each other, they would have a lot of say so.
Right.
Problem is now the big businesses might be owned by the politicians or who knows what. So you don't have the smaller businesses like ours could be a strong voice.
And to make that, I mean, to make our voices heard in a way and not just,
No,
you know,
they're
the
just
message,
good,
but
you
like,
know, jump up and down, cause trouble, you know.
banners. I mean, and again, that's the way I was looking at it because, you know, you saw the passion, right? The passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Fashion, yeah.
we happen to have, I think, a resource in the room right now that might speak to this whole process of creating laws and also maybe talking about how laws that are already enacted need to be enforced for the betterment of the community. And so before we talk about whether or not this kind of anarchic model legislative process should be supported and mimicked by the business community, we're about to have some business members come in a little while to talk, to try to be politicians. Can I introduce Jordan? Yeah, Jordan Paluhn.
Pauluhn. So it's like the boy's name Paul, and it rhymes with typhoon.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm an attorney here in Guam. I've held a number of jobs. My most recent job was I was legal counsel for Guam Memorial Hospital Authority. Prior to that, I was at the Attorney General's office. And even before that, I came out to Guam and was a research attorney for the Guam Supreme Court. That's how I arrived out here. At the moment, I'm doing some private practice work and getting some of those set up. And most importantly, I'm a candidate for Attorney General in 2026.
What motivated that?
What motivated that is I look around in Guam and I see a lot of really great things that we have here, but I think we sell ourselves short by not actually engaging in long-term planning and engaging in the hard work that can create both economic success and safety in our community, not just today, but year after year and generation after generation, because a lot of that takes hard work and commitment to things like the rule of law, economic success, actually prosecuting crime and putting people in jail and creating the systems to support that. And we fall really short of those things quite a bit.
So let's go back to the legislature. I guess a type of law is about to be enacted. Will Parkinson put his political life on the line, try to drag this issue of decolonization into the open after so many years languishing. He's trying to get people to decide whether or not Guam, as a now unincorporated U.S. territory, should move towards either statehood, independence, Commonwealth, some other entity that is voted on by the citizens themselves rather than imposed by the President of the United States, the Department of Interior, and the Congress. So external forces created the Organic Act back in the 1950s. Now in 2026, you may be the next Attorney General of Guam. You're certainly a citizen of Guam and you're a candidate for Attorney General. What do you think about this very passionate display of democracy where people clearly, 111 people clearly wanted their voices made known?
So I think one of the important things to remember about all of this is we are not the only territory who has ever dealt with these self-determination issues. Both United States territory and other territories throughout the world, the United Kingdom's had plenty of them. I think what we see here and where some of the frustration comes in too is Guam is not incorporated into any of the political things. For a portion of my life, I was living in Europe. I could vote for president while I was living in Europe. I moved to Guam, which is America, and I still can't, and now I can't vote for president of the United States.
When you were in Europe, you could vote for president?
Yes, they have the overseas voting rights for military members, and from the state that I had immediately left prior to moving to Europe. You can vote for president through your last state of residence. And so if you move anywhere else except for like the U.S. territories that are unincorporated, you're not going to get that right. And so those are the things those are real questions that we have to confront in, in a decolonization effort or a self-determination effort, because I think decolonization is one effort at self-determination, and Guam has not had that self-determination process in any meaningful way. And so there's a lot of heated exchanges and passionate ideologies on both sides. And we're debating whether we're going to have an election right now. And we've been through these debates over an election before. And the last time we had one, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals actually said, no, it's a race-based restriction. And given the history of the United States, U.S. courts and the U.S. system do not like race-based restrictions on just about anything.
Yes, and it's a big problem.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Davis was
Yes.
the one who had a case,
Yeah.
you know, like that.
And so, but I think that there are multiple ways of handling this because I'm in support of a self-determination effort where the people can actually make their selections known about what their preferred status is. And actually, status quo is a status, whether you like it or not. Some people actually, I know some people that actually like our current status. I'm not necessarily in support of that, but I know plenty of people
Yes.
who are.
I think that if we could rewrite the tax system, which we were able to do, that status quo is good.
Yeah, we are actually allowed to rewrite our tax system.
Yes.
We just need to actually engage in those things. Guam is also allowed to, under the Organic Act, create its own constitution, and there was an effort, I think, back in the 70s to do so that failed.
There was a
But
convention.
Yeah.
But before we actually get into, I say, a lot of these self-determination questions, I think until we can actually put together our own constitution or other governing document, even if it's not something that we get enacted, but that the people of Guam get behind as the model of this is how we're going to govern ourselves, I think then we can have real conversations about how to have a vote on that and how to actually do it. But we don't have a plan yet
we
for
need
what to do.
more imagination too, because I see Guam and all the islands of Micronesia and the Marianas becoming a state. And I think Trump would go for that. I really do. I think he would.
Greenland,
Well,
We are.
we have green lands, we have lots of tang and tang,
Blue Ocean.
right? I mean, there's things here.
I want to share something very interesting. I pointed out when I went to testify. There is this interesting opposition, very big opposition coming from the Commission on Decolonization. But when I went back to their meeting minutes, I found a very strange thing. And I want to read it out because I don't want to misrepresent the actual document. So during the meeting on September 2nd, 2025, there was a discussion and Mr. Melvin Wonpat Borham actually explained that the only way for the government of Guam to proceed in facilitating a referendum is for the Guam legislature to repeal the current law, that's the 1997 law, and replace it with a law that has no restrictions on voting eligibility. So the Commission on Decolonization is very clear. They know what the right path forward is, but yet they came in and staunchly opposed the efforts propelled by Senator Parkinson.
Because we have to pay the bills. If you like this kind of conversation, you want to support it, like, share, subscribe. And the subscribe part is particularly important. We have a very vibrant YouTube channel. It helps to feed a lot of the other efforts we're making to get our message out, one of which is voter registration. The pirate captain has commanded us to get more independent-minded people like you registered to vote, and tell your friends and neighbors in the States, right? Unlike Jordan, many of our diaspora in Guam, well, like Jordan, want to vote back in their home state, which is Guam. So there's a whole process for it. It's not easy. We might talk about it if Jordan has some time, but we need the diaspora to vote. This is an important election. We're going through all the gubernatorial candidates. We're going through the attorney general candidates. We're going to bring you the people that want to lead our community forward, but we need you, absolutely need you to vote. Pirate Jeff, could you talk about how this need to vote maybe even translates into our military brothers and sisters here on Guam?
Yeah, well, the military that is stationed here permanently, their taxes stay here on Guam. So they're being taxed, and if they're not voting, that's like voting without representation. Taxation
Without
You know,
representation.
they had the Boston Tea Party there, my neck of the woods, right?
Can we go throw some tea out into the ocean here right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So anyways, I would like all the military, especially if you're a dependent or you don't, for some military, they want to keep their residency in Alaska because there's benefits from the state.
Sure.
But the spouse could register on Guam. And I would like to see my friend Mr. Moylan give the military on Guam the right to vote here and to vote in their home state, both, because they're paying taxes in both places.
Right.
Dual residency for the military
There
is,
you go. That's another
I
way
went
of.
into the legislature where the passion was being exhibited, and if you haven't seen the tape, go online because it's all recorded. This was a democracy at a very heated level. In fact, some people were complaining because not only were the protesters bringing in signs and their loud voices, but some of them brought in hammers. Some of them brought in utensils that looked warlike. So
Yeah.
I think their point was to look native, but unfortunately, it might have been a little intimidating maybe for the lawmakers and the staff down at the legislature, or somebody who was in opposition.
Well,
So,
guns are not allowed at the legislature, but spears definitely were, so.
so Jordan,
point.
you as Attorney General, I mean, we want to make this a little more colorful. You have an example of where one, I guess, special interest group that wanted to effectuate change. He's recommending maybe the business people do the same thing, be a little bit more passionate. We had doctors go down. We actually boycotted a day of service on a Monday because the same jackass senator, Will Parkinson, decided to do another jackass thing. So what do you think about citizens rising up, using their passion to influence votes down at the legislature?
I think at the legislature, that is actually one of the things. Legislatures have always been the people's houses. That is the portion of the government in which they vote for the people to represent them, and they can make their voices heard. Both in the Organic Act and the United States Constitution, too, we have this thing called the petitioning clause, where you are allowed to petition the government, and that is the primary way of doing it. So when people actually show up and do that, they've done it with the racetrack. The doctors have done it before. Some people have done it with the BPT, not quite as much, and then you see it recently.
Heavy
Yeah.
BPT.
But
That's what Charles is saying. Is the business people were kind of polite.
But whether you're polite or being more passionate about it, at the end of the day, what you really need to focus on is the persuasiveness of it. Because at the end of the day, you need to persuade the majority of.
When you have a spear and say, Will Parkinson, you're a jackass, they actually made Will Parkinson cry.
It's
Yes,
passionate. Is it
they-
persuasive, though? Because at the end of the day, are they going to get Will Parkinson's vote? That's what you
No.
actually need to look at.
No, they're not gonna
And
get
then
his
it's
vote.
not a
They're
persuasive
gonna kick
thing.
his ass out of the legislature.
And so, but at the end of the day, we also have what are really passionate voices, because even the Commission on Decolonization's view that we should have a native inhabitant only vote. There are some fair aspects to that. However, running an election the same way that they tried to do in the Davis case has been said to be illegal. So we are not.
Wait, it was said to be illegal by white people.
Yeah, that's the argument.
The thing is, the white
That's
people
the
are telling the brown people, you can't let, you know,
You can't let
if you're really going to be
the
independent,
colonizers
then you
rules,
ignore the
yes.
white
Well,
people,
that
you go
also
to the United
well, that
Nations,
also
or
assumes
all
that
the
all the
brown
judges
people
on the ninth that all the judges on the Ninth Circuit are white people, and they are not.
Well,
But not.
if we look at the majority of
we have
people that
black
voted,
people.
because this led to that famous thing that Neil Weir has lost himself down the rabbit hole. You know, you talk about a rabbit hole. Your friend Neil Weir has been down that rabbit hole too long. You better go rescue him.
But now we're getting.
What's that thing called?
But Doc,
the case.
we're getting we're going a little too
Yeah,
technical.
yeah.
Let me, if I can just ask, and
Like,
pivot
share, subscribe.
if one pivot question here,
Yes, sir.
and Jordan, and you can either say yes or no, because
say yes.
you were working for GMH, and so no pun intended, you know
That's
what
my-
the skeletons are within the hospital, and I know you can't talk about that,
So-
right?
Yes, no, he can. He can. He's a citizen.
But what I'm saying is, knowing
lawyer.
sort of like you've been deep in the trenches, especially GMH is a very hot topic for everybody. Does that give you a different perspective going into and running for AG?
So yes, and I think actually what happens is a lot of the challenges facing GMH are the same challenges that face the rest of the government when it comes to procurement and all of these other things. Staffing, infrastructure, all of those things. What you see at the hospital is everything. People come in on a daily basis that are sick. So the turnover in the wear and tear on that system is much more intense. And so that's really why you see it in a much more upfront, meaningful way. However, what we do have there are a bunch of good doctors and nurses that show up and provide the care on a day-to-day basis. But what we really need to do is start looking at the systemic changes that can actually move money and resources. Procurement law, for example, that's one thing that everybody loves to complain about. Some of it is our procurement law is complicated. Some of it is we don't have as many sophisticated procurement professionals that can process things as quickly and as timely and get the money moving. So we need more training.
You had the chance as almost like the acting CEO in the last budget cycle, because they made you talk about that, everything like that, right? And you got the money. I mean, you got something like $250 million out of the legislature. I think Tony Adams voted for the bill. And you guys didn't fix the fucking electrical panel. The fucking electrical panel's still on fire. It's gone on fire 3 more times since you were the acting CEO. When Lillian Posadas bagged out on you and went on sick leave, and you had to testify in front of the legislature that you promised you were gonna fix the electrical panel. Because the damn thing had burst into flames multiple times. Since that time, the fire trucks have come there. So, this procurement bullshit, it's because you guys haven't been paying the bills. Let's face it, the vendors don't believe in the hospital's ability to pay, so no one's gonna take the chance that you're gonna pay us later. Why don't you pay them up front?
Nobody's
pay them up front.
Nobody's
Give me the check up front.
So nobody's gonna go with any vendor that's not or contract that's not paying.
That was you.
Yes, but here's the thing with the procurement law: it actually prohibits the prepayment of contractual things. So we could get a legislative amendment, but that would take the legislature going in and changing it.
Well, you guys, I think you were there when Governor Liu said, go to GPA and get John Beneventi to do your work because you guys were payers, right? And so they've been chasing their tails to try to get electrical panels. The RFP just came out 3 weeks ago, and nobody knows about it.
But you got to bring it back to the AG. You got to bring it back to what he's saying. No, because
You're gonna
remember what Fernando said, right? Remember the statement that Fernando said.
fuck the AG.
No, I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that. No. What Fernando said was when we asked him about the procurement, I said, why couldn't, if we know that the panels have issues and they're gonna go on fire one more time, why can't we go to Home Depot, get the new panels, and get them fixed? And Fernando said, you will most likely go to jail. Because with we've created this the AG sort of this persona that the boogeyman,
yes.
right. So but again, Jordan's running for AG, and we got to ask him, like, what are some of the things. So knowing what you know now, and understanding the procurement, we don't have to go down there because we understand the procurement system is really just it's not right. But
They got golf carts at Adley. You could do anything in this government if you believe.
But from an AG perspective, what would be your perspective on getting this thing changed?
I think one of the things that you can do to change it is there are a couple big programs out there. One of them actually developed out of Harvard, which is now its own separate thing, but it used to be the Harvard Procurement Excellence Network that has now spun off into its own NGO organization. But they actually come and provide training to government agencies on how to actually do government procurement. And what we have is a GCC program. I've even taught some of the GCC modules. That's very helpful, but that is the surface level stuff. I mean, that is like literally the
You were living it. I mean, you were having to figure out how to make payroll, pay for medicines. You had doctors screaming at you. You had nurses screaming at you. We need it today, buddy. We can't go back to Harvard.
I mean, but
how do you fix it today?
Why does everything have to run through the AG's office?
And here's the thing: a lot of doctors have this emergency medicine mentality that it has to go today.
I hate to break you, Jordan. They're not kidding.
Get the contract in place today for a major construction project. It won't be built today. There is a minimum amount of time that it takes to actually complete a lot of these things.
But hey, can I bring it to you? You make payroll every 2 damn weeks. That's a freaking big outlay. And let's just face it, right? You spend a lot of time, or at least you outsource it to your other partner, giving out $300,000 settlements to patients, right? We don't have to talk about specifics, but that fucking hospital has been paying off people for their funerals for their moms, dads, and little babies.
So
that's 5 Fs.
And so
reach the limit.
I have dealt with a lot of hospitals, even when I was working stateside as a lawyer, representing doctors and hospitals and things. And every hospital is going to be involved in lawsuits related to patient care and medical malpractice and other things like that.
Isn't it nice that your limit here, though, is $300,000?
It's $250,000 for wrongful death cases and $500,000 for personal injury. They had it elevated those caps for the government claims a few years ago.
Go down to GMH.
So
The money's flowing.
That money comes from the general fund.
that money comes primarily in the hospital from its operating funds, but we all know that the hospital is supported by general funds as well.
And by Tony Abbott. I mean, you guys keep going down to the legislature begging for more money. It turns out it's for hush money. I mean, you guys are like the mafia.
He's not with GMH anymore. So
I haven't been in
You only beat the the show yesterday.
I actually haven't walked down
We
into
haven't
the
talked about
hospital
this
in several
seriously,
months in
okay?
several months now either. So,
It's over. No,
But-
I'm voting for him now.
but
You can put this on
But
the
the amount of
Instagram.
settlements that I think the hospital actually paid even over the last decade is actually not as significant as people think it is.
How much is it?
I haven't done the math. What do you think I have? The hospital's financials in my back pocket. I carry them around. No longer.
Okay,
Um,
Jordan, real quick, because we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna segue to the kinder, gentler moment. So, as AG, what kind of billboards are you gonna put?
I'm going to take billboards down and actually focus on spending those monies and efforts on prosecuting crime and sending people to jail and investing in the systems like corrections and other things that are and the facilities that are actually going to help manage that system instead of putting up billboards about how much I really want to do it.
How do you see yourself organizing all these staff shortages, addressing all those issues? Because there's a lot of people that left that I hear from the AG's office, and we don't have enough attorneys on staff, and prosecutors are actually struggling prosecuting the cases. How do you plan on reorganizing the
So
system?
first of all, we don't have a recruitment problem. Even the current
That's
Attorney
what I
General's office gets people in only to have them leave relatively quickly. Actually, another attorney in the Guam bar in response to a motion recently actually put together a long list of attorneys that have come and left the Attorney General's office.
So
as
it's
well.
a turnover
And
problem.
some of it's a turnover problem. There is a problem in Guam in general where there aren't enough attorneys. We don't have enough attorneys even in private practice to help people do the basics like trusts and estates, wills, land transactions. Like go and try and find somebody to handle a lawsuit for you, and it's pulling teeth because everybody's just maxed out on their capacity. And so we do need to focus on making pathways to get more lawyers here, which is you got to partner with the Supreme Court to change the admissions rules for attorneys, figure out how to regulate that, create incentives to get people here. But then also, once you get people into jobs like prosecutors and things, I've prosecuted some things, especially in appellate cases, but I'm not an expert in, sex crime prosecution, for example. I want to hire the experts, the people that do that on a day-to-day basis, and then trust them to do their jobs. Because being an attorney general, you're not the only attorney. You cannot handle the weight of that job alone. You have to hire people and hire experts and trust them to do that. And so my job would be to be an administrator and help get those people in there and then allow them to be the experts to do it.
So, final word, when you are elected Attorney General of Guam, you will be in charge of the largest legal office in the territory, and actually in all of Micronesia. Because as you know, we are the regional's hub. What do you want to tell those people of Guam they're going to vote for you, Jordan Paluhn, for Attorney General?
I think getting back to the basics of running the government, that the Attorney General's office is supposed to do two things, and we can do them well. It is to prosecute crime and represent the government. And so if we focus on getting back to doing that basic work and hiring people that are experts to do the procurements, do the murder prosecutions, do the consumer protection things, and actually allowing them the professional freedom to make our community better, that office isn't just going to be the largest law office. It will be one of the best agencies for productivity in Guam and Micronesia.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming to the show.
Great. Also, we have an audience member.
Yeah,
who's asking
of course.
a question.
Great.
Good, how are you?
I'm a retired police officer from the Guam Police
Come
Department.
over here, Steve.
I've been lobbying for headquarters from Guam Police Department. There's a law that's still collecting dust. Title 5, Chapter 59. They call that the Guam Public Safety Facility Construction Act of 2000. That's supposed to build offices for GPA, GFD, DOC, Guam Customs, and Department of Law.
Yeah.
Department of Law AGs. So why can't we try to push for that? Because with the construction of public safety facilities, we'll be able to save money from all the leases. These are all the empty promises that I've seen as a retired public servant. And there's a lot more. If you look at the law, it tells you exactly how to finance it. It's like, when I attended the GTOA town hall meeting, I was disappointed. There's only 2 people showed up.
Yeah.
But when they told the students that we have money to build simultaneous, no, we don't. Because it's still at protest. You know how the thing goes? Correct me if I'm wrong. We ask the public, we put for bid, right? See what company can actually put out the money to build cyber centers, and then we're gonna pay them annually. It's like the medical campus or the healthcare center facility construction center of excellence in Manila. That's $35 million a year, supposedly for 40 years, and can be extended. And that, if you look at the law, the $35 million is not supposed to be appropriated yet until they get a signed contract or lease agreement. But in 2022, $35 million was allocated, and I asked a lot of senators,
Where'd you go?
what happened to the money?
So, first of all, there are a lot of laws in Guam that are still collecting dust. A lot of things that we could actually utilize and enforce better. When it comes to money, just because the legislature makes an appropriation, and this is something I think a lot of people don't understand, doesn't mean that we actually have the cash on hand to pay for those things. It means we've anticipated a sum of money, and the legislature has said, when we get that money, this is how it's going to be spent, and the executive branch is supposed to execute on it. But if we, if half the island's tax base moves away and we suddenly have a huge deficit, then you're not going to have the cash to pay for all the things that we've said. That said, I am actually highly in favor of making government facilities and institutions that we can maintain and own. The judiciary, we did this with the judiciary a few decades ago and have the judicial building fund that actually maintains that facility and houses that. So I think these things have been proven to work, and I think we can actually invest in those things, and consolidating the Department of Law and the police department and those things into its own facility would be very helpful. Because what we also have right now is a number of agencies, including the Attorney General's office, who are leasing space out of 2 separate buildings. Yes. And when we could actually consolidate them into a single government-owned facility that has its own building fund that operates like a trust and can gain revenue and pay for it over the long run.
We're gonna have to bring back Jordan. He's not just another pretty face. He's running for Attorney General. If you like what you're hearing, like, share, subscribe.
And like, share, subscribe to me as well, not just them too. So.
You might get it.
So the show is very unfiltered. So if you do have any questions, please go out there, put them online, or you can just come into the studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just
Come on in.
It's happy hour with Bobby Shrimp.
So,
after this.
so,
Drinks on him.
so, you could, I don't have my website yet. This is like a shoestring operation. So,
I can help you.
Beastra can tell them where to find me really quickly here. So,
I have your card. That's how I can find it.
Beastra has my card. Okay, I am very recognizable as well. I think I'm quite distinct here in Guam. So if you see me in public, you see me in the donkey, you see me in a Payless, do not be afraid to come and talk to me. I am happy to come and talk to you directly, answer any questions. And then I also have a card that's going out that has my contact information on it. So if you have it from a family member or friend, please do not hesitate to get a hold of me as well.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. Look forward to being back. So
Good.
thank you.
Great. Very great. So Jeff, we have some important people in the studio.
Yes, we do.
We're supposed to
You
stand
got
up.
mics for everybody?
All rise.
Pirates Rising.
No.
Come stand up, keep running.
Half a day.
Ready or not,
Doc, how you doing?
under the
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
to reintroduce ourselves.
Wait, where was Jordan?
Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Just for transparency, for the record, Dr. Yakamoto's
My partner.
I started and you finished it.
That's good.
Jeff, I think we need to introduce our guests.
Yes. Oh, it is, yes.
Oh, they're yeah.
It's good.
How much did it cost to get onto the same for? That sounded just like it.
We gotta go out.
I'm sure that we
Customized for you.
Very cool.
glad you like it.
No budget. We have no budget yet. We can do a song for you guys. How's that?
That was funny.
Guys, instant work, you know, that's like within 2 days that was put together.
That was very funny.
Very talented people helping.
On the air?
Okay, we're here. Okay.
We're not on the air.
Strawberry cake.
Yeah,
There you go. Okay.
She
Now,
likes the-
we are privileged to have the candidate from the Republican Party here with us today. And first, tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, not 20 minutes, you know, but your beginning, you're from Guam, you're born on Guam, and how did you get to where you got today in the Senate?
Well, first, thank you, Jeff, for
And
having
you know,
us
your
here.
dad was one of my best buddies, okay?
Yeah, so that's why I want to make all this transparency and, for the record, that you and my dad go way back many years, way back into the 70s and 80s, right? And,
Right.
Dr. Akimoto is my primary physician.
He knows a lot about you too. You know everything.
Actually, my medical record is like that. Yeah. And
Man, I was gonna say it. I haven't seen him in 3 years.
yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
I see him on the TV.
Did a lot of work with Charlie and also with Bistro over the many years. But thank you. For the record, I'm Tony Atta, and I've been a son of Guam all my life. I'm married to my wonderful wife Annette. We celebrated our 40th anniversary last year. A lot of commitment, a lot of working together and communication. We have 4 children, 2 grandchildren, and I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I served 6 years in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 10th Mountain Division up at Fort Drum. Then I spent 3.5 years in Germany. And then also I turned around and came back home. I think the turning point there was actually my children. When I was transferring from Germany to Fort Drum, they turned around and I brought them home first during my transition. And when I PCS to Fort Drum and my kids came here, my children were saying, "Man, Dad, we have so many family. We have lots of cousins." And I said, wow, I need to bring my family back. I need to ensure that they know who their family is. Because, in the military, everyone knows in the military, you transfer from base to base, you go from location to location. So your family at that point in particular time is your family, and then it transfers to another family at a different base. And so I made that decision to come back home.
What year was that?
1992.
Guam was more affordable then.
Yeah. So, and you're right, Guam was more affordable then. And we came back home. We made a living here. Have all my kids, they all grew up here. They went to school here. They went to college. They get their own professional degrees, and they're doing what they do now. And I came home. I worked in the family business for 15, 20 years before I went into public service. I got into the legislature and the special election in 2010. And I served, this is my 6th term in the legislature, and got a couple of times. And I ran with Ray Tenorio for lieutenant governor, and I ran with Felix Camacho for lieutenant governor. And this time around, I'm running for governor for the island, and EJ Calvo is my running mate, my partner, who we are going to go forward in making our island better, to put Guam first as our lieutenant governor.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be here, all of you.
Well, we're very happy you accepted our invitation.
Yeah,
Please
definitely.
tell us about yourself. sir.
Yep, my name's EJ Calvo, and I just want to start by thanking you for the hat. It's really nice. Yeah, I appreciate it. I figure they let me take off the tag, right? So
Yeah.
appreciate the gift. This is by far the most dressy I've ever been here at Jeff's Pirates Cove. I don't think I've even worn shoes too many times. But
Even me, I dress up
Yeah.
for you guys.
He's wearing pants.
yeah, I don't know when I wear pants though, Jeff, but no, happy to be here and introduce myself, get to talk more about all the things we care about. And I guess my background, I was also a son of Guam, raised in the village of Sinanya, went off to the States for my education and just to learn and see the world as much as possible. And once I decided I was going to settle down and start a family, I immediately said, I want to do it in Guam, and came back in the early 2000s and got to work.
I have a master's degree in business, and that's what I always wanted to get into and follow in the footsteps of my grandfather and his brothers and my father and
Who's
get
your
back.
grandfather?
My grandfather's Eddie, and so and
You
my
know,
father's
Eddie's a
John.
good friend of mine too.
I'm glad to hear.
I
Yeah,
got a picture of him on the wall with,
yeah,
I'll never forget, with the guy from Al Litton from, I forget his, anyways, from Ambrose. They were here
yeah,
together
yeah,
one
yeah.
day. And your grandpa came here a lot. He was my
He
buddy.
did. He would
Yeah.
bring me down here a lot. Yeah.
There you go. See, I know you better than that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
too
mean,
small to drink.
I'd say one of the best jobs I ever had was driving for him when I got my license because he didn't need a driver, but he wanted to show me the island and talk to me about real estate and development and the things that happen and the history of Guam. And yeah, we had good times together that I always cherish. But
That picture was with Mike Littler.
really,
You remember
yeah,
him?
yeah, I've heard the
So
name.
he was the head of Ambrose at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time, and your
and my
grandpa head of
grandfather.
Calvo, and
Yeah,
they came here and had such a good time.
yeah,
Yeah,
the great
this is what
stories.
Pirates Go is all about, LP.
Yeah, and so I'm inspired by my grandfather and so many people, and I made it a life mission to come back and inspire others and motivate them to not only lift up our island but do big things and put Guam on the map. And I've tried to do that in every organization I've been a part of, and I thought I saw a pathway for myself to continue doing that, and I didn't really see this as something on the horizon until Senator Atta gave me a call last year and said, I think you're the guy for the job. Would you do this with me? And I thought about it long and hard and really did a lot of soul searching and said, I've never felt a calling like this before to come and not really change direction. Because like I said, I've always wanted to work for Guam in a different way, but this was really inspiring, and his style of leadership and the way he's engaged me as a true partner has been what's really motivated me, and I think that's what you're going to see in our administration and in our you've already seen it in our campaign so far. Just the way we do things is always quality, is always just trying to show people what we're made of, and I think we bring that to the table nicely. So I'm excited.
So let's continue with the gubernatorial tone. We always get the questions, why are you running and what are your top 3 platform issues? It's a cliche, but a lot of people want to know, why did you decide to run and what do you want to change?
Well, Bisa, over the many years, have you seen in the legislature, we create policy. We create legislation that gives direction on how to do things, whether it be through the laws for law-abiding citizens, or even how we appropriate the funding. But it's in the administration that executes those laws that we pass. And what we've seen in the past is that there's opportunity that has not been taken advantage of. There's opportunity that was given to the administration that the administration has failed to move forward with. And that's what EJ and I bring to the table, is that this is going to be an administration. I mean, there's 2 mandates of the lieutenant governor. The first mandate is island beautification. The second mandate is the state clearinghouse. Now, the lieutenant governor can take care of both of those mandates, but I need a partner who's going to be there with me to guide this island, because the people of Guam are electing 2 people. They're electing Tony Atta and EJ Calvo. And this is a partnership for our people in our island, because we want to ensure that when they hold someone accountable, they're going to hold EJ and I accountable, right? This is why it's called the Atta Calvo administration. This is why you see the teams when they say the Calvo Tenorio administration, all the Camacho Cruz, the Camacho Moylan, all these administrations, they're a team. And that's what we're going to be, is we're going to be that team to move the laws that have already been passed, to move them forward. And there's the opportunities that have been there that have not been taken advantage of. And we're going to build upon that, so that, we need to go back to basics. Like Jordan had said, right? The fundamentals, the structure, the foundation is there, but the way the house has been built is not proper. So we need to go back. It's not working. So let's change it. Let's change it and let's build it. Because when you change the input, the output is going to be different. But if you just keep feeding that same input, you're naturally going to get the same results. And that's what we don't want. We don't want the same results. We want a better island for our people. We want a better island for our community. We want a better island for our tourists. And we need to build our product here first before we invite anybody into our house. It's just like Jeff's room here, thanks for straightening it up and everything. But before he invited us here today, he made sure the bed is straight. He made sure that everything, we got a cooler of water. That's what we need to make sure is that when our tourists come to Guam, but before they even come to Guam, we need to make sure our island residents can say, I'm going to Ipao Beach and I'm going to use that restroom because why that restroom has been rebuilt or that restroom has been renovated. Or when they go to Tagasan Beach, they can say the same thing. Or any of our other places that they go.
Do you feel?
So in order to achieve all of that, sorry, Jeff, in order to achieve all of that, you're going to have various agencies that are going to help you move forward with your planning. So I've always been very vocal about me wishing Guam to have top heads, executives with absolute utmost enormous amount of experience. And if we need to get them from off island because they've been working for some top company or some top government agency, do you support something like that for your team?
What I do support is looking for our locals that have moved off island that are experts in those fields to bring them back. I have a best friend who is a hospital administrator in Arizona. We went to school at FD together in '85. And he's out there as a hospital administrator. I would love to ask him to come back home. Hey, what is it that we can do better? And how is it that we can train a new hospital administrator? Because that's what we need is a hospital administrator. We don't need a doctor or a nurse, and no offense, doc, or anyone like that, but we need a professional that knows that
an
industry.
Executive, top-notch executive, because management and execution has been the problem that's been plaguing our island. And it's not just one administration. It's been going on forever and ever. But when we hire the right people, like we need to run the government like we're running our businesses. If we don't hire the right person for the job, our company is going to run down.
Exactly. And even when you look at the agency directors, for example, my son, if he's a PE in environment. Would I love for him to be the head of Guam Environmental Protection Agency? Absolutely. But you know what's going to be the first thing that's said? Oh, there you go, conflict of interest. But so then how is that? We look for those professionals. We look for those professionals that go and fit into those
We seek them out and
agencies.
bring them in. If we have
Bring
to,
them back home.
if we have to, if we have locally grown talent,
Then we
by
use them.
all means, we have to keep our talent here. But if we cannot find,
Then we look for
then
our
we'll
own
look.
back out
There
there
you go.
to bring them
Well,
back.
we
want to
bring
say,
in
Charlie?
people to train our people. That's what we need to do.
The
And
train
I
the
want
trainer.
to know how you feel about privatizing the government.
We've done it before, right? We've done it with GTA. We've seen a lot of these public-private partnerships that go on that work. They do work, right? There's something I would not privatize, and that's the port. I believe that the port should still be government run.
Oh,
Well, if it's
because that's
properly without politics,
Exactly.
I agree.
Yes.
But I look at the commercial port and the airport as prime for privatization.
Yeah,
For money, because I
Maybe
think the people of Guam could use all the money that could be generated instead of the huge employment that we're causing down there with the government running it.
But I would
And
not
what we
want to
do.
see. I would not want to see a private company dictating how our goods come in.
But that's up to you.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm saying,
guys,
right? We turn around and do
control
that
the
public,
things.
And
that public-private partnership.
let Charlie
right?
rebut that.
Well,
Let
I
him
definitely want
rebut.
to touch on that real
Yeah,
quick.
sure.
But on the I want to go back to the accountability.
Sure.
And so, I'm a big proponent of the commanding officer and the EXO. Head coach, assistant coach. Right? Just to kind of put it
Absolutely.
in good terms, right? And you hire your assistant coaches because if something happens to you, they have to step up and take the lead, right? They have to call the plays. CO, XO, CO goes down, XO takes command. So, obviously you've chosen EJ as your XO,
Right.
right? Or your assistant coach. My personal question has always been is when you go off island and EJ is acting governor, what is the authority? I mean, what is the true authority of the acting governor to be able to push forward legislation that needs to get signed?
Plan.
Yeah, I mean, what is the authority that they truly have when you're off island, or if God forbid if you get sick? What is the authority that he would have to really put and push the laws and sign the laws into place, make executive decisions to, get things really moving.
And that's where the organic act comes in, right? And it says that in the absence of the governor, that the lieutenant governor. But when you look at the United States of America, when the president goes out into a foreign country, the vice president does not become the acting president, right? So do we need to update our organic act to say that such, because there is still that communication nowadays, technology and how things are done, where there doesn't need to be an acting, or do we still continue with how we're doing things, right? Because I don't think I know, and I know that with EJ and I, we work in partnership, right? So we work in partnership to where what is going to be the best direction for the island? What is going to be the best direction for our people? And how is it that us coming together and getting our cabinet together to ensure that we put that out there, that directive out there, and what are they following?
Well, but going back to
Can I help you out?
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
Because I think that's the key. Is we've said the word partnership several times because I think that was the first sentence he said to me when we sat down. Is I'm looking for a partner, and he had to elaborate on that further. And he's really looking at someone who can manage and operate. And to that analogy of an assistant coach isn't just there in case the head coach is not available. He's there for a vital role in terms of the operation, in terms of the success of any organization. So just like an assistant GM or a team manager. And so I think moving forward, if I'm filling a role that Tony wants me to fill as lieutenant governor, to operate, to manage, to hold the people accountable, and to follow through on the plan we've created that we've got the entire government bought in on. If that time did come where I needed to step up for a moment in time, it's seamless.
Yeah.
That's what it has to be. That's what it should be. It's not there for just semantics. It's ready to continue the operation.
And that's really what we're pushing for, right?
Yes.
And that's really what the team really is all about, right?
Yes.
It's just being able to step up and make the hard decisions sometimes. And that was sort of like the question I wanted to get.
Yeah,
to.
yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the people out there, we're live. These guys are really answering our questions, and they can answer your questions too. So type it in. I think we have some questions already.
We just have one question from Eddie. I know Steve has questions as well, but we'll save that for later on. Eddie says, I want Tony to tell people how he will utilize professionals who know how to make things more efficiently run and maintained in each government agency. Things like procurement, permitting, licensure, and enforcement of laws. These changes will improve the quality of life for our residents.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Eddie, for that. When we look at the permitting process, what should take just 30 to 60 days to clear the permitting process takes a year. Easily a year. What we need to do is establish portals. And these portals is these people can put their application in online. You turn around and it goes through this process, this portal process of clearing each different department and agency as required. And if they don't put their stamp of approval on it in X amount of days, then it's deemed approved. Then go on to the next agency, then the next agency. So that by the time that permitting process is completed, not more than 60 days has elapsed from it, right?
Would you consider building one complex for the government of Guam where you could try to incorporate everything that was feasible to put there immediately? Find the land and, that would help the permitting process too. If you had to go for something, you go from one window to the next window, to wherever. But the way our tax and revenue place looks, the way everything looks, I would really like to see you guys just say, here's a master plan. Here's how many agencies. Let's right size them. Let's give them the facilities, not necessarily with aircon. I'm against aircon. Anyways, just make it work. No, if you go up high enough, you don't need aircon, believe me.
Can I comment on that? Because I think one idea I was really excited about in years past was the revitalization of our capital in Hagåtña. And I worked very closely with the master planning group as chairman of the Guam Economic Development Authority. I was on the GITA board for 10 years total through 2 administrations and chaired the board for the last 4 of the Calvo administration, where We built the Guam Museum. We developed a master plan for Hagatnya to be a true capital, relocate the lockup, and also create quite a beautiful tourist attraction and some place that the local residents will be proud of, that will generate all kinds of excitement in that capital. Right after the FestPac event took place, it was really momentum was moving, and I think also the efficiencies that would come from that, and savings potentially. It was
What happened?
Yeah.
That's a good question. And all I know is, I mean, we can talk about what's happened over the last 7 years, but I think what's going to happen over the next 4 years is more important to us, because I think we're ready to look at development of government facilities that create efficiency, create future savings, create more collaboration and cohesiveness with agencies like you're talking about. It could be in the capital, it could be in another location, or maybe both. But that's really common sense, and that's what I'm excited to work with the senator on.
And if we can go back real quick, I mean, because I mean that's a great point, right? I mean, it's what happened to that master plan. I mean, I'm knee deep now, right? Since my new establishment, Beans and Barrels, right? I mean, so we're getting all the groups together around the area, all the businesses, and we're trying to form this group because we want to be able to find that, you know, what is it going to take to really bring Agana back to what it was intended to be, right? And but want to go back to the port real quick.
Okay. Then we'll go back to again.
Then you go back to it again. So the port. If there was one agency that I would privatize, is the port.
Now, wait. Let me. Are you saying complete privatization, or would you go with a public-private partner?
No, and it's always, if you look at, and I can show you different plans that we've developed and implemented in Miami, in California, in Houston, Texas, where we've gone and we've worked with the government, and the government manages. It could still be the Port Authority of Guam management, but the operation is run by a private entity. The reason why I say that is because one, the leverage that you have when you're working with companies, they want to keep the contract. They want to do a good job. You can still pull the levers, but the management of the fiscal management is done by the company. Number one. Number two, when it comes to the employees, you're a company that says, if you do a good job, I'm going to give you a bonus. It doesn't come from the government. They don't have to ask the government for money.
Makes so
I am
much
going
sense.
to give you a bonus, and it will drive the performance. It will drive the cost. From statistics, right, that we did from when I was in the shipping industry, Guam was probably one of the top. It was at one point the highest cost in the world operation. So we touched on 150 countries. Guam was the highest cost operation that we had, and you know, the folks that have been doing this for 30, 40 years, they were baffled, right? They were like, what is, like, you know, we're moving 600 containers a week, and our operational cost is astronomical, and we move 20,000 containers over to this country, this country, this country. What is going on?
I think this is a sidebar meeting. I think we got
hours. This is government operation.
Yeah, we love hearing the ideas, though, and I think that's one thing I've learned about Senator Atta is he listens and is really open-minded to ideas, not only from me, of course, because I come to him every day with another idea that I think we should at least explore, but we've sat with stakeholders out there, and you're definitely one of them, and there's many more that we need to hear out.
And then, so that would be like, I think that, don't take it off the table.
No, never take anything off the table.
Let's flip it back to Agana.
Okay, so back to Agana.
And so, you know, from a business perspective, now I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
Now I'm working with the vendors for the kegs, for the food, right?
Yeah.
And it's a shipping cost, and I'm like, oh God, like what? You know, I'm on the other side. So when we're getting together with a lot of the business owners that are buying in, you know, from the distributors, buying the beer and all that, and we see the cost, and you know, obviously we want to be able to draw. And Jeff, you're in it. You feel it here.
I'm in it as well.
You're in it as well. And so, you know, what we had a discussion last night, and we're saying, listen, we don't want money from the government. We want to be able to get that support because one, we're seeing the tourists walk right through areas that that are not well kept.
No.
Right.
Plaza de España as well.
Number two. So we have to be very strict on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to tidy up our homes.
Yeah.
This is what we're opening our doors
Mhm.
to our folks that are from off island, and that's what we're showing them. Number two is, if we really don't want to be revitalized, we have to work with a push to get the South open as well. Like
Yes.
again, it has to be spot the
Yeah.
South that has to be
Mhm.
open. It's not just Tremont.
Right.
We love all the
Yeah.
establishments in Tremont.
Even down south, we cannot forget
Yeah.
the southern villages, because a lot of the sceneries and
Yeah, they got
the
some
Guam
of the most
scenic route
beautiful
goes
sites,
throughout
yeah.
the island.
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing we need to develop the south, we need to develop the south, but we cannot even do the road
Yeah.
work down there. We cannot put some security cameras at the overlooks, because a lot of people get broken into when they stop their vehicle.
Mhm.
I mean, we have to really clean house and start looking forward to
Yes.
how do we welcome them visitors.
Welcome.
Yeah.
But also, you said it's for our local community.
Yes.
We want to be able to have that
Right.
price point.
It's for
to
everybody.
be able to have them just to be able to come in and afford that weekend going out with the
Yeah,
family.
Yes.
yeah.
That's what
Who
we-
doesn't like to go down south and get some nice sweet tuba, bring the family and
Yeah.
sing all the songs in the back of the car?
So-
Right.
But that's for us as well.
So
Of
be sure
course.
you asked about our platform,
Mhm.
and
There
I
you go.
think number one, you're going to be seeing it roll out in coming weeks, and we're very excited
I'm
about
looking
that.
forward to it.
However, we don't have enough time on the show, but if we can talk about a few things that might, include some of the topics, because we're deep into the discussion about our capital when it comes to supporting small businesses, cleaning up the infrastructure, doing the fundamentals that should be taken care of, that are expected, like cutting the grass, like keeping the streets clean, like addressing some of the homeless encampments around the Capitol, traffic lights working. A lot of fundamentals, whether you're a businessman, whether you're a coach, when things aren't feeling right, you don't come up with some harebrained scheme. I guess you could do trick plays, but I say always go back to fundamentals.
Yeah.
Do the simple, low-lying fruit, right? Go back to the kitchen and make sure it's being done right. Make sure we're managing efficiently. So I think that's a big part of what we're going to bring to the table. The other part of it, and this is important for our capital, is and overall we need to incentivize more development of housing.
I was
On the
gonna go
island.
there because
That's island-wide.
hot topic.
It's island-wide, but especially in our capital. It'd be a great place to see more residents, see more development where they can patronize businesses, and it all works hand in hand, and also help take care of the community. And so I think that's a great area that should be tied to government facilities, private
Mixed-use development.
investment,
Mixed-use
mixed use.
development.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of
The
opportunity.
problem is that we have not planned our most supposedly important portion of the island, which is the capital. And
Yeah.
the planning is so poor there with what was allowed already to be built and how it was abandoned. It looks so derelict. It's just not what a 21st century Guam should look like.
Right.
And the baseball stadium's still condemned.
I mean, it's so
Don't get me started on
Yeah,
sports.
yeah.
but
Yeah.
That was a sidebar.
Yeah, no, that's a whole other meeting. Yeah.
the problem that our residents look forward to is developing. We cannot even talk anymore about affordable housing because that
Yes.
thing doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's just not possible to call it like that. Nowadays, we need to change the term to attainable housing.
Sure.
And our youngsters are the actual homeless people of the future because they cannot afford to buy a home anymore. It's something that's they're already probably giving up. So how do we, as a government, as a people, as different legislative bodies, how can we band together and work with the actual developers?
Yes.
And that's where it's going to
To
take that
do that.
collaboration, right?
Yes.
And you said it. It's the administration and the legislative branch. They need to
We need to-
collaborate
yeah, we need to-
together so that we can get these. I mean, look at back in the 70s where they rebuilt they built Liguan Terrace, right? For
Kaiser, Terrace,
Kaiser and things like that.
Well-
You know, we need to take some of those old ideas, bring them to
Think
to
Charlie
today,
needs to
and
lead.
then
Yeah. Take care, Charlie.
bring it
Thank
up
you,
to
Charlie.
the up to
Let's set up
modern
that
days.
sidebar meeting.
Yeah, no, sure.
Okay.
And you know what?
All right.
This is I have to leave.
You gotta open the business, right?
Yes.
You're blocking the camera.
Yeah. See you later. See you later.
And that's where a lot of this mixed-use permitting comes in, right? Where you can have
Yes.
storefronts at the bottom, but then you have residents on top.
Mhm.
So
So
it's a
let's
lot
say
of that.
let's say a bill comes to your desk and says we need to change our zoning laws and we need to change the way we regulate density.
Right.
Would you sign a bill like that?
You know, what I would do is I would go out to the communities that's going to be affected, get the input from the mayor and those folks that are there, right? Because that's what the MPC is there in that village for, right? The municipal planning council comes out and says, well, man, is this something we really want for our village? Is this something that is going to be beneficial to our residents in our area? Are we going to have that capacity, not just for water, but wastewater and electricity?
Absolutely.
All these things need to be heard first before we say, you know what, pen to paper, let's go for it.
Right, but there is, I will tell you, the experts will rebut you on that one because when you were talking about development, we already have many places that have the infrastructure. Sewer is the most important one. We have the power, we have the sewer. Why cannot we build on a R2, I'm sorry, R1, where there is a sewer, build a duplex? The sewer is there. But this is reserved for single family dwelling. We have the infrastructure. That's how we can easily open up development.
Yeah, we need to look at being
So,
more
yeah,
development
yeah.
friendly.
I'm not saying,
Yeah,
go
you're
ahead
right.
and, whenever wherever we don't have the infrastructure, but whatever we have already in place, we need to tweak it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we have very restrictive building code.
We do.
Understandably so. We live in a tight little alley, but there are so many little and simple things that will not cost the government a single penny, but it open up the doors to new
And when
development.
you look at that as well, right? You know, it's how are we going to be able to accommodate our people, our families?
Yeah.
That's what we need to ensure.
And that will benefit a lot of families.
Exactly.
I wanted to bring up the UDA because we were talking about
The ADU.
Yeah, ADU. The
The ADU?
legislation passed.
If
And
I was big support of that bill, and I said it out loud many times, if I get in and if you guys don't, reintroduce it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
No, it's already passed.
I know.
Right, so-
I'm saying I know exactly what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's a good move for Guam.
Absolutely,
And,
yeah.
and also it starts to help relieve some of the backup in terms of
What is
inventory.
It's the bill permits in R1 zoning an additional detached structure to be
units.
built as a studio unit or granny flat.
Suite, we
Yeah.
call it,
Granny
or
pad.
Yeah.
additional rental.
It wasn't allowed before. So now you can actually
families
build like
can
a
build
studio
for
for
their
your
kids.
kids or for your
rental.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, or rental. There was a big opposition of the rental.
There's definite progress going on down at Jeff's Pirates Cove. The barbecue's on, the restaurant's open.
Hey.
We need you down here. You can meet more with the candidates. They might be there available for time. There's a lot of people wanting to shake their hands. You can too. Like, share, subscribe, send in your questions. We're gonna have a format for anybody who wants to ask questions of our future guests as well as our current guests. This show is live and it's gonna be live all week long. In fact, all election long. So stay tuned to our platform. Andrea?
We have a couple of people, actually, there's a lot of people from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And the question we have on YouTube, it's from No Peace Guam. Any plans for rebranding of the tourism industry? Or is it going to be the same old,
There.
kind of remain and only economic engine?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be the only economic engine. I'm sorry, I'm just
Right.
jumping. Yeah, I was chairman for GITA for a while, and this is very important to all of us, right? And we skip through. There's just not enough time. But when we're talking about developing outside of Tumon, we're talking about. I know the Guam brand is discussed, and this can be part of our platform, of course, a very important part. But I think Tumon, you can't deny that it's an epicenter. It has a lot of first impression that needs to be also cared for, needs to be upgraded. But we're a true believer. We got to talk about the capital as another destination, another corridor for the visitor community, and the rest of the island needs an upgrade in our product. I think that's the mistake that's we're seeing today. Is that we're spending a lot of money on marketing and promotions, which I'm very passionate about. But I think as any businessman knows, you've got to take care of your product first.
I think
and
you need
reinvest.
to have an ocean view of everywhere you drive around the island,
Beautiful.
you know, just so you can see the ocean.
Yeah.
I think that we need sidewalks, and I think we need infrastructure without telephone poles under the sidewalks. I think we're small enough to be innovative to do our own systems here.
Yeah.
And as the military come more, and as people come more, we want it to be better and better.
Yeah.
And use the resources. A bus that goes around the island for the people to go to work up north or down south a couple times a day.
Right.
All these shabby buses running around Tumont don't look good.
No.
They're charging like $7 now to ride that
And
bus.
that's what we're talking about, Jeff, is investing in not only infrastructure, but we have some existing sites around the island that are falling apart. Sorry, what was your
Two
example?
lovers league.
Well,
Two
you know,
lovers
there's
Park's
over
beautiful,
the-
but I'm thinking down south.
Even, even the Johnny,
Two lovers league is
the one
fantastic.
Johnny overlook.
Do a private partnership to upgrade a site. There's sites in the south, like in Alahan Pools. There's sites in
The Chalampago Lookout.
Chalampago Lookout.
It's a good place to get your car ripped off, because
Yeah.
if you park there, it won't be there when you come back.
You know.
And that's just a really small site. There's a lot of places around Guam, what you're talking about, but let's face it, Tony, you're in the legislature right now.
Right, yes.
You've been in charge of passing budgets,
Mhm.
and Parks and Rec always claims they're gonna do stuff like this. How are you gonna hold those jackasses accountable? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, tomorrow, if we drug tested the people at Parks and Rec, 30% of them are gonna piss positive for meth. What are you gonna do about GovGuam employees that don't work?
And that's what the
Are you
mindset
gonna
has to be
test
changed.
your employees?
Yes, we test
When?
employees
Right away?
right away.
We're not
You
doing
know-
it right now.
You know
We're,
what we
we're
need.
not doing it tomorrow.
When you look at Parks and Rec, right, what we need to look at is what is the capabilities of Parks and Recreation. You know what they've been doing in the past is that if there's a site that's in Humatec, what they did is turn around and gave that site to the mayor's office. So because Parks and Rec can't handle every site, definitely not. Let's start giving these sites back to the mayor's office where they'll be able to say, you know what, let's get Tan Maria and Tunase to say, you know what, they can get a small business permit and let's have them maintain the restrooms there. Let's have in Malesso, in Rohan. These, we need to get the community to be engaged, because you know what, I tell you, if I'm the one that's out there and I'm the one that's keeping that restroom clean, I see someone go up there and tag it, you're damn right, I'm going to say something about it. Because why? Because that's my pride that's in there. And that's what we need to do. We need to take island pride.
I heard what you're saying, but like, can we hold our own people accountable?
We have to hold
There's
them
the
accountable.
ones that are abandoning the vehicles. There's too many names that we recognize that keep going in and out of DOC. And, you know, we want to talk about deporting people that are not from here. We have our own problems here in our own villages.
Definitely.
So again, going back to the question of tomorrow morning, we have GovGuam employees routinely showing up to work high as a kite.
And that's where every agency director has to be held accountable. Every agency
how are you-
director.
how are you as
Because
governor-
there's
How are
already
you as
law.
governor gonna make that happen?
I will make it happen, because if he can't do his job, what do I need him for?
Exactly.
Well, some of your directors are gonna, I mean, not yours.
No, not
but
mine.
The current directors are showing up high as a kite.
That's where the governor needs to put the hammer down and says, I don't need to do your job for you. If I have to do it for you, I don't need you. Plain and simple.
Okay,
Because
now,
I don't think we have enough time to turn around and say that, oh, no, we're going to go ahead and let you do this, do that. No, this is the people's money. This is the people's money, and that's why we need to continue.
$1 billion. You're gonna have a billion.
1.4 billion.
Well, wait, I thought you were gonna reduce the budget. You know, we need our taxes back. So, you know, $1 billion you guys
No,
have
hey,
to make Guam good.
We're gonna increase arrivals to the island, and we're gonna stimulate the economy. So I'm not worried about the budget.
We didn't talk about lowering the budget.
I think there's always going to be more
Yeah.
money. I think the
Yeah.
military is gonna bring it is, but what I want to see is a GovGuam that is efficient.
Yes.
And I don't want to see 80 to 85 cents of our dollar that we pay in taxes spent on employees, on 14 or 15,000 employees that are just getting in each other's way. You know, we need to have a clean government and a government that works right. And I would also like you to change the name to Guam from Guam. You know, just think of that for the future, because Guam doesn't sound good. You know what I mean? Guam, that's a beautiful name.
All right, guys, we need to pay attention to our audience. They're asking questions.
There's dance coming, right?
We don't jump ahead.
Okay, sorry. Doc's always in a rush, you know? He's in the emergency mode.
We have several, there's actually a lot of questions, and I just want to acknowledge the audience. We won't have time for all of them, but I know that the candidates will go to the questions and answer them, or your team may answer them in the future. We have, of course, our in-studio guest and a former that he'll ask at the end. And we have one question from Tommy Woolley. He says, what do you guys think about Will Parkinson's bill about Guam's political status? I've been hearing there is a strong opposition for Indigenous people.
You know, the Will Parkinson's bill, I think what has been going on over the past many years, I've been on the Commission on Decolonization. I went to the United Nations and testified before the United Nations. You know, we need to get with Department of Interior and work with the Department of Interior to see how is it that we're going to be able to move forward. Because all we've been doing year after year is chasing our tail. And I said that many years ago in several elections, that we're just chasing our tail. We need to find that solution now to say, hey, Department of Interior, what is it that we're going to be able to do to ensure that we can move forward with our political status? And when you get it was strange, because when I went to go testify before the United Nations, and then Speaker Wampat and we were together, we went to go meet with different countries, right? And more specifically, our region partners here. And it was our region partners that turned around and said, well, you know what, man, we would love to support you, but we're getting pushback, you know, from the US. So when they came out and told us that, we said, whoa, they said, what you need to do is that you need to circle back, work with Department of Interior. Don't try to work against them, work with them, so that you guys would be able to move your issues forward. And that's
What are we
need to do.
asking Department of Interior for?
What we're asking Department of Interior for is to help us to say, okay, this is what we're going to do and how we move this plebiscite forward. How do we go from a straw poll to actually a poll, right? How do we, within the boundaries and the parameters of the law, so that we don't step outside of it?
That's what
And-
that's the point that I made during
If
the
we
break.
continue to say certain people can only vote, it's not going to fly.
It's not. It's already
And, you
been
know,
stricken down in
It
court.
just makes us look bad that we can't accept this.
Unfortunately,
Everybody in the world is from
it
someplace
hurts
else.
the feeling of every single Chamorro island, but it is what it is. And if we don't do something to move the issue forward, we're never gonna go anywhere.
That's
And what's
right.
the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
It's American.
Okay, we also, and I know this is a very deep-rooted question that you're answering, and it definitely.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
fires more time. Yeah.
Yeah.
One poll, it could be
Yeah.
a week of shows.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, how long we've been trying to navigate that. But Steve also has a question. I know Steve, you can answer the last one, but let's stick to the first.
Okay, so that, just to take a look at my testimony.
Come on up here.
One of the things, okay, I'm so concerned about our tourism right now. Okay, Philippine Airlines gonna have start their flight to Saipan, and one of the things that keep pushing, because there's a lot of wishy-washy law that we have, the gambling law. Why can't we implement casino gaming in Guam?
Ooh. Oh.
No, but listen, guys. No, listen, guys.
All right,
Limited gaming fund.
let's go. Like, share, subscribe.
Limited gaming fund, $500
EJ.
at one point
EJ.
was used to fund Department of Parks and Recs.
Okay,
So-
Steve, come on, let's go. Let's go.
That's a question.
We're getting
That's a
around.
question.
Was that the question?
You're a troublemaker.
You know, I want to comment on the Philippine market in terms of tourism, because I do believe that the Philippines has got great potential to become our third largest source market and a strong market for us.
Absolutely, I agree. Yep.
For a good amount of years. There's way back, I got a call from GVB, and I was running a business in Manila with one of the biggest media companies there, and I got a call that they didn't have a contractor to do any of their GVB office duties in the Philippines. So we bid on it. We were the only bidder, and we ended up running the GVB office in the Philippines. And at that time, I believe it's still the highest number of arrivals that we've ever had from the Philippines. So I've learned very intimately about that market. And I believe that the visa waiver isn't, of course, it would help, but it isn't mandatory to grow that market from the Philippines. I think that we could actually attract a large amount of visitors who have good spending power, that want to come to U.S. territory, U.S. soil, and do some shopping and play some golf and enjoy themselves.
And get divorced.
Yeah,
And
that
get
as well.
divorced. Get divorced.
So I believe that there's great potential from the Philippines. I think that we should give some more focus to it. Of course, invest a little bit more than what they've been investing, which is almost nothing. And I think that's a big potential.
I know you're right, because I get groups of Filipino people coming here
Yes.
on flights and charters and doctors and priests and all this. They love Guam.
And
They
to
love
that point,
Pirates Cove.
You're talking about the visa waiver. They have huge jumbo jets flying to San Francisco from Manila every day to Los Angeles, and they all have visas. I think the total count is close to 1 million. But what are we getting on Guam? Under 10,000. So we're not getting the our proper share of that market.
Let's go,
Yeah,
JB.
especially the higher spending market from the Philippines. We don't have to be only a budget market. I think there's tiers to the visitor
Yeah,
industry,
absolutely.
and we need to focus on the different tiers. There needs to be a more focus on the very high end customer that isn't looking at price tag.
Home run.
They're looking at experience.
We're running out of time. That was a home run.
But we also need to care about the budget market that is looking for a deal.
Another show.
Okay.
Another show.
Okay.
Another show.
Steve asked about gambling.
I hear that it's being discussed more out there. I'm
I mean, you look, it was put before the people, right? Several
Different
times.
vision.
Yeah.
Different vision.
So, you can't take something and shelve it. You always gotta revisit. You always have to revisit, right? I mean, currently there's still what they call it, the little gaming machines that are still going
A
on.
lot of contradictions.
A lot. There's a lot
Those
of
game
contradictions.
rooms should all be shut down. I'm telling you the
Yeah.
truth.
You still got bingo that's going on, right? So I mean,
Bingo too needs to be monitored.
no, but
Bingo
no, not a, no. What I'm saying is, you still have some form of gaming that's going on,
Yes,
right?
it is
So
going on.
that is why we got to look at what is it going to be to strengthen Guam, not deteriorate Guam any further, but to strengthen.
Isn't the Philippines Catholic? They got gambling all over the place.
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I'd like to say that I don't think it's the sure-all solution.
Right.
I think that we should look at various options to diversify and make Guam more attractive, and the entertainment industry and amusement industry definitely is one reason why people travel. I don't think it's the only reason, and I don't think that's the only focus we're going to have. I think, again, that discussion will happen from day one. It's the fundamentals.
Right.
It's making sure that if you're down at Tumon Bay for a morning run, you're not going to get robbed. You're not going to get approached or yelled at by someone who's been drinking all night on the beach. I mean, that's step one, and I think that's the kind of reputation that could, forget anything else we're doing. We need to take care of the fundamentals.
Okay, guys, we're going to go through a quick fire round. There's maybe about 5 questions left from the audience, and we filtered out the things that we believe we can answer. So quick fire. I'm going to say it, then you answer,
Quickly.
sentence. And so we have Kevin Harding. No, we're going to go with Johnny Utah. He says, question, will the future governors take the Jones Act head on by writing a letter every week and calling every week, bugging Trump and his people to change the Jones Act to benefit Guam?
That's something that we always have to look out at, right? And maybe if we can't change the Jones Act, we can look for exemptions to the Jones Act for the people of Guam. That's what we need to do.
Five.
Hey. Okay.
Kevin Harding again says, with the total, Kevin, you get 2. With a total of about $3.8 billion federal funding Guam has received since the pandemic, what are the solutions for fixing the hospital, roads, schools, and more?
Wow.
Whoa.
3 words.
There was actually all that funding that was put into the island should have went to stabilize our current hospital. We still have federal funding that takes care of our roads and infrastructure. So yes, we do have to continue to spend those money, but we need to spend it wisely and prudently.
Okay.
Fire.
Great.
Okay, keep going.
Next one. Idna Kanata says, how are you on sustainability for farmers to rise for the island?
For what?
Sustainability.
Sustainability for farmers. What is your stance on that?
For farmers, I think the agriculture industry's got huge potential. I think we need to look at modernizing that industry and having more local supply for our businesses.
One
Thank
thing
you.
we've been talking about is inviting people to come and help us do hydroponic
Yeah.
farming here and get away from all the shipping from the States of all that. Also, the fishing industry. I think we need to go to Taiwan and encourage large fleet to come here and help us.
Why not
because there's
explore
plenty of fish.
slaughterhouses again?
Yeah, well, all that is great. But
I mean,
all
look
these
at-
things have to be followed through, and that's why they have to be privatized.
And look at Jeff,
Believe me.
you just had a chicken farm just down the road from you many years ago, right?
You know what happened there? One suit.
See?
The guy got hurt there, and they shut it down.
Oh.
You know, so that was.
Okay.
Next question. Two more questions. I keep saying we need to do this, we need to do that. What are your solutions on how to engage with Congress if they snub you? How are you going to engage with them to push the legislation?
No, I want to say something about Congress, but just overall in what I feel that why this election is so important. I think one of the things that, and I'll try to address the question specifically, but overall, I think the governor's office cannot get things done and unless you work in collaboration with all the key stakeholders, from the AG's office, of course, Congress, and of course the legislature. Earlier we were talking about what happened to the Agana restoration and our capital development. That's often what I've heard is Adelup wasn't getting along with the at the time it was a Democrat legislature, and they still weren't getting along and seeing eye to eye because different areas of the island are under different jurisdictions, right? Different control. So I think number one, to sum this up, we have to care about who's being elected, and there are people that are ready to collaborate and do what's right for the people of Guam, and get out of their own way and stop being so stubborn and
Fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Last question from the audience, and also to acknowledge everybody who sit with us and watched so far. We really appreciate you. If we didn't answer your question, we love you to death. Come back and ask more questions and probe deeper. They will look at that feed later on. Final question. Now we can ask the candidates if their support in now we can ask the candidates if they support the opening of the office of the Suruhana.
Ooh.
That's from Steve.
That has been in the past as well, right? And I think that's something that perhaps, again, needs to be revisited.
What does it do? What does it
You know,
Yeah.
the Suruhana is a place where you can go and put your complaints in and what goes on within our government agencies and
He's the
departments.
Suruhana then.
He's the Suruhana then.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Is it an office that's been funded previously? Why was it defunded? Why was it closed? Go back, examine it, and say, you know what? This is what we need to do to ensure that government efficiency, government effectiveness is working for our people and not against our people.
Yeah.
All right.
And if I may, because we always talk about let's get the young voters out, the voters out. So I went and solicited an actual question from an 18-year-old that left Guam for college, but wants to come back, but he doesn't know why. And here's the question: how would you promote young starting families to start their life in Guam?
First and foremost, right? And I was talking out there about coming back home, bringing our kids right back home. And when I first joined the military, it's family, right? It's always about our family. We need to continue to build our family infrastructure. We need to build our family base. Attracting them back home is going to be the first and foremost important part. But getting them the jobs for them to make their own families is also going to be very important so that they can continue to build their family base now and then build our island base.
Think about that and elaborate on that, because that is the future of Guam.
Exactly.
And if we don't get our kids to stay here, if we don't attract the kids that are already there and they are not considering and coming back, our island is going to die off.
Well,
Exactly.
we need the jobs for them.
Yeah.
They're looking to build exciting careers, and that's going to be a big part of our platform is job development and job creation. And I think we need to worry about the quality of life that they can experience here versus elsewhere.
Housing as well.
Yeah, housing
is gonna be
and
one of
affordability.
them,
But outside of that, I have a kind of a chip on my shoulder when you travel and you see things and everyone's like, oh, this is all outside of Guam. Bring it here.
Absolutely.
And it's going to take people that especially have traveled to come back with those ideas
Yes.
and work with us to help execute some of these ideas. That's what I've been about all the time.
Absolutely, I agree with you because that's what I do. When I travel, that's what I look at. What do they have that we can bring here?
Why not on
And
Guam?
why not on Guam?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that
We're like baseball.
the school system needs to be geared up to where it makes the student want to live on Guam, want to learn something in school that's gonna be to their advantage here. Not just join the military at 18, but be able to get training and mechanics and things that we don't have big now. You know, to me, the education system is a waste of time and money. And a lot of us, you know, like I send all my kids to private school, then I pay taxes so people go to public school. They're not getting the right education. And I wish we could privatize the education.
We can subsidize more of the schools that are coming out as charter schools.
Yeah,
But we can
schools are a
also,
problem. We need
but we
to
can
have-
also subsidize what we're spending today per student, per pupil and GDOE. We can give that as a choice, parental choice. Give the parents a choice. More good schools will come out of this. That's another industry with
I think that's a
education,
good
with
idea.
industry. So why not?
Like, share, subscribe. We're now playing the show.
Okay, so this is a game that everybody who comes on plays. It's called the Pirate Scorecard game, and everyone can play along with us.
Jordan.
Get him over
I'm
there.
waiting around the whole time just to play the game at the end of the show. Can I go first?
Yeah, okay, we'll have Doc, like, first, let's explain to everyone watching. They can go to halfhour.com to play the game. You can plus or minus your candidates for the week, and that's across the board.
Okay.
Just just go to halfhour.com and make sure you play every week along with this. You can do it right now. Learn to shift the tide by simply making your vote count. Everybody out there in internet land watching us. So how this game works? You basically look at the cards. Of course, you guys are in them, so that's a lot of fun. And you give your +1, your point for the week, and your -1, your demerit for the week. And you also, to help the public understand why you vote, explain why you get that plus and minus. So it's helping to educate our new voters. And Doc is so ready to go, so Doc, you go first.
So my +1, shifting the tide, is the team of Tony Atta and EJ Calvo. I think coming in here, you know, we have obviously had a lot of questions. We still have a lot of questions, but they've provided a lot of answers, and I think they've shifted the tide. Obviously, you out there are going to have to make your decision. So pay attention to their social media content. Ask them the questions when you see them on the street. But I think my +1 today definitely is Tony and EJ. They did a great job. My -1, I'm going to cheat a little bit because that's what the pirate does too, is actually these two, but they still are in our game for some reason, and neither one of them have picked up a packet. So, you know, if you're going to run for governor, Marcel, one, you need to get a partner. And two, you know, maybe you should get a jacket that's as good as their Charlie's. But, you know, Charlie walked out on us, so I'm not sure I'm going to vote for him for governor. You know, and so the pirate, you know, obviously he's just an innocent bystander in this whole thing. But we just think that -1, who on them, pick up a packet, get committed.
Very nice, Doc.
Oh, okay, then. We're going to go in order from outside to in.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, Doc.
Are you ready? Okay, so my +1 is for these two guys that came here today to my bedroom to be on our show. Really enjoyed the exchange and hearing because I didn't know much about you guys at all as far as what's going on, and I'm happy to have you here. Yeah, you're on both sides of this, so you got it, Matt.
Yeah.
My -1, where did Josh go? Son of a bitch. My -1 is Josh because he hasn't gotten rid of the junk cars. He's in a lame duck situations where nothing is happening good for Guam. The tourism thing isn't being addressed to my satisfaction. And he has a chance to do this right now before the election to make him look good, right? I mean, if he went out and started, we're going to get rid of all the junk cars, he would get such great publicity. But he isn't. He isn't doing anything. So politics is politics, but no good for Josh.
Jordan?
Okay, I'm going to cheat like Doc over there. running for Attorney General, I'm going to give a +1 to 4 separate cards. This will include Josh and Tina, Joe and Dwayne. We also have Frank and Mary, and we have Tony and EJ. I'll get my +1 because I think for the Attorney General's office, this island is too small to not work with anybody who becomes the governor of this island.
Well played. Well played.
And yes, yes. Sorry, I break the rules. So the legal side of me.
Attorney General breaking the rules.
So, and then my -1 is going to go to Charlie and Jeff, only because Jeff, why haven't you picked up Charlie's packet yet?
Charlie is Charlie, and I'm considering write-in. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, the better question though is if we all knew you were going to be Charlie's lieutenant governor candidate, he might not have ever had to withdraw from the governor's race.
Well, things get talked about here, okay?
All right.
Save us, please.
My plus, hold on, because I can. My plus actually goes to. Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Thank you. So my plus, and I'm gonna cheat too, is to our Republican teams running. I went yesterday to the Blas Ocada camp. They just blessed their headquarters, and I gotta say I'm very impressed with everyone. So as a Republican, I support all of you guys because I'm happy that we have good quality candidates out there and made the best man woman win. We'll see each other again.
Yes.
But keep doing what you're doing. Create those platforms. So I'm rooting for all of you, and I will be very pleased to see the best rounded, well thought out platform, and that's what I'm gonna vote for as a voter. But meanwhile, good job so far. Keep going. So that's my plus, and then my minus. Okay, -1. Man, Mr. Marcel, what is happening? Can we get a word? You know, so I wanna know what's going on. So that's why I'm reading mine. Yeah. So here we go. That was it for
Give it
me.
on to Jeff. There's
Thank you so much for holding.
day off on produce, I think.
All right, am I up?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll go -1, and again, a little bit outside the rules, but I'm gonna say -1 just to the state of the island that we're in right now, so you can read between the lines. I'm just saying that a big reason why I decided to go into to public service is because of the state of the island and because of the inspiration that Senator Ada has given me to make some change and return to fundamentals, give the people what they deserve, and also take Guam to new heights. And so there's a lot in there, but I think I'm going to say the negative should be turning into a positive with us in Adelup, and that's where I'm motivated. My +1, and again, this is nice and fun, and it's a little, I'll break the rules also because Charlie left our interview. Yeah. So I'm going to give a +1 to Jeff, and I think he should pick up Kai Akimoto as his lieutenant governor. I'm a big fan of Doc's son, and I'm inspired by that young generation. All transparency, he's slept at my house. He's one of my son's good friends, but I'm also very impressed, and I think we need more young leaders like that coming back. Doc has done a great job with all his kids, and I believe I'm happy to get his support. Is what he's telling me. He's rooting for Ada Calvo, and we're also our wives are cousins, so and all transparency. Yeah, we are. Hey, families got to stick together, and yeah. But
That is what the lawyer will call conflict of interest.
come on, man. But hey, it's a fun game. I just want to have some fun with it.
And there we go.
Yeah, well played.
All right.
So my +1 is, you guys set the rules. You said there's no scripts, no rules. So my +1 is to God the Almighty for giving us the blessing to be here with each other,
Amen.
to talk with each other, to talk with the people of Guam, and to understand how are we going to move our island forward. That's my +1 is to God the Almighty. My -1 is I don't have one. I think that any candidate who decides to put their hat into the ring, I don't care if it's governor, lieutenant governor, mayor, congressional, AG, any position, anyone who puts their hat into the ring deserves to at least say, hey, you know what? I want to try. I want to be there. I want to do what I can to help our people and our island. So with that said, I'd like to thank all of you for inviting us here and being with you today.
Oh, great.
Thank
You're
you
very
so
welcome.
much.
Now the song.
Guys, everybody has this. We all got to dance together.
That's not like a sermon.
So we're
It's Sunday, man.
Are we supposed to stand up?
We're supposed to sit in place and hand commotion.
Ah.
We don't stand up and cha-cha
You
and
can pirates just sit.
Okay.
go, man.
Just go back to your inner kindergarten days. Loosen up. That shoots you, Bobby. Come on, Bobby.
We're going to
Yeah.
play a song for everyone to hear, and how
All
it
right.
will go is we'll just dance to the tune. You guys will be able to hear it, and then we'll roll this out. I'll let you know when to wave and when we're off air.
Okay.
Is it the Etta Calvo song with Rihanna and Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, you guys didn't have time to make you another one.
That was a good song, yeah.
We'll see.
For a one-day exercise.
I
That's
thought it
was a real song. I was listening and then finally they say Etta Calvo.
for a real song. In fact, full disclosure, his favorite artist is Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Yeah.
Mine's Taylor Swift.
Welcome to our GUAM Unfiltered.
Who's my favorite artist? Yeah.
Over a diagram, here that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, GUAM director coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud.
Doing the swim.
Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good to man, everybody has one. No push on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the tree, watch the whole place rise. Our GUAM Unfiltered. GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. GUAM sauce for true sicker, yeah, we deliver. GUAM Unfiltered. Everybody now, GUAM Unfiltered. They go to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise.
10 minutes again. Hey folks, like, share, subscribe. If this is what you're paying for, tell your friends and neighbors.
Half an hour GUAM Unfiltered. Half an hour GUAM Unfiltered.
For the Pirate Nation, and we'll help select the
Sing
next
it, don't
governor,
filter it.
the
GUAM sauce
next
for true
10th
seekers,
governor,
yeah,
the
we
next
deliver.
senator,
GUAM Unfiltered.
and the next attorney general. So you're you just articulated my days. Oh, good.
No, we still got
No, you gotta keep dancing.
the whole dance party. And then we're going to play the next song, and then we'll go.
We are gonna play the next song.
Yes.
Can we talk?
When else are we going to play?
Right.
Ready or
Okay, we'll
not,
do it
we're
just one time.
coming.
Can I get a quick plug for our...
Wait, because they're...
I'm sorry.
Ready
They
or
can't hear
not,
you.
we're
Yeah, I'll give
coming.
it.
Under these
Yeah, let me know.
Australia.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
to reintroduce ourselves.
GUAM,
Unfiltered. Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. I duck Calvo.
There you go.
These lights off our center court. Real talk, full report. Ready or not, here we come. You can't hide when the drums hit drum. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. One ready or not, we're coming.
I like it.
Take the hat off. Start, bro.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
Real talk for report. You can't hide when the drums hit down.
This, the one.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is A.D.A. Public servant state. E. Hand when the hard votes came my way. Island roots, years in the legislature, pressure proof, built for storms, built for nights. Now I'm stepping under court lights, not for noise, not for fame. We talk issue, name names.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. A-D-A-C-A-L-V-O. How about hours in a court?
Real talk for report.
Ready or not, here we come.
Guam watching, beat like drums.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is C-A-L-V-O. Guam businessman, Island built. 10 toes down, that's the code. Guam basketball coach, know the pace. When it's pressure time, keep your face. People fan, gym lights glow. Discipline first, let the work show. Now it's in the court with the mic on.
Guam goes live, game on.
The condition was that he can call me that on the show, and then he never did.
Center court, one mic,
Oh,
Island Eyes. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Calvo, under these lights. Center court, full report. Ready or not, here we come. You can't hide when the drums hit down.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
By the way, I saw that visionary picture on your printer. That's amazing. That's the visionary picture on your printer. Sorry, it was sitting right there in front of me.
I was in a court, real talk, full report.
Yeah. Pirates Cove. The hotel. Yeah, that went away with food. That's amazing looking. Yeah. So, well, they can't hear it. No, this song's on. So this hotel is turning into what the Verona is now, and we're really working hard in getting investment, and that's when Corp came in and we did like 2C. They completely renovated to the Sheraton. I thought 10 years later, when the Sheraton was still, I go, I'm so proud of that move we made. Because think about all the employees that work there, all the things that happened there. It was going to be a ghost town, the old Palace Hotel.
I know.
So I think that program needs to be reinvented.
Hey, everybody, come back next week. Doug Moylan might be here.
Which camera's on?
Jeff's bedroom.
All of it.
We were good in kindergarten. Those were the days.
Kindergarten.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where we've come back to, right? Jordan, of course.
I'm glad we didn't talk about FD or ND today. Yeah, we didn't do anything.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running. Ready or not, we're coming. Under these lights, we say.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Guam,
Unfiltered. Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running. Ready or not, we're coming. Under these lights, we decide.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Guam.
Unfiltered. Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. I duck Calvo under these lights. Half an hour, center court, real talk, full report. Ready or not, here we come. You can't hide when the drums hit drum. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. From the skies, they're high. Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. A-D-A-C-A-L-V-O. Half an hour, center court.
Real talk for report.
Ready or not, here we come.
You can't hide when the drums hit
Allow
down.
us to reintroduce ourselves. Guam, this side.
This, the one.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is A.D.A. Public servant state. D. Hand when the hard votes came my way.
Guam businessman.
Island roots, years in the legislature, pressure proof. Built for storms, built for nights. Now I'm stepping under court lights. Not for noise, not for fame. We talk issue, name names.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. A-D-A-C-A-L-V-O. Half an hour, center court.
Real talk for report.
Ready or not, here we come.
Guam watching, beat like drums.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is C-A-L-V-O. Guam businessman, Island built. 10 toes down, that's the code. Guam basketball coach, know the pace. When it's pressure time, keep your face. Fibber fan, gym lights glow. Discipline first, let the work show. Now it's in the court with the mic on.
Half an hour.
Guam goes live, game on. Center court, one mic, Island eyes. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Out of Calvo, under these lights.
Half an hour,
Center court,
real talk.
full report. Ready or not, here we come. You can't hide when the drums hit down.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. I duck Calvo under these lights. I was in a court, real talk, full report. Hiding in the truth, got drums. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running. Ready or not, we're coming. This the moment we decide. Guam Unfiltered. We're coming. Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove. No acquiescence. We decide. No surrender.
Here we come.
Center court.
One mic, Island Eyes, Captain Jeffrey Pleadwell, Andrea Tiggs, Guam Directory, Doc Akimoto, MC, Bistra Mendiola, Charlie Hermosa. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. At a Calvo.
Make one tonight.
Half an hour.
Center court.
Receipts up.
Under lights.
Ready or not, here we come. No acquiescence, no surrender.
Live from Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Guam Unfiltered, remember.
Ready or not.
We're coming. Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running. Ready or not, we're coming.
Welcome to our Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Over a Guam, here that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tiggs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Clap, clap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya tutu mon. Everybody has one. No wish on this ship. No fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth. Watch the whole place rise. Afa wa GUAM Unfiltered. Afa wa GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy. Sing it unfiltered. GUAM sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Afa wa GUAM Unfiltered. Everybody now, GUAM Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. GUAM sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. GUAM Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, GUAM sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Half an hour, GUAM Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. GUAM sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into half an hour, GUAM.